Welcome back to Wednesday Words of Wisdom. Sorry I missed last week, but we're just going to continue on reading Be Happy by the Dalai Lama. Today's chapter is called The Inner Door. I would like to share with you an incident that happened in New York City during a meeting of medical scientists and other people. One of the scientists mentioned that according to his findings, people who express themselves frequently using I, me, and mine have a greater risk of having heart attacks. These people are too self-centered. Such an attitude makes even a small problem unbearable. Once you open your heart to others' well-being, which I call the opening of the inner door, you can communicate with other people easily. This will help you make more friends, reduce feelings of loneliness, and develop feelings of compassion, which reduces anxiety. That is useful for our health. After all, we are social animals, and such an attitude goes well with our reality. Generally, people stress the importance of education. They are right. Many problems arise due to lack of knowledge and ignorance. Education can equip you to develop a broader, more comprehensive, and more holistic perspective. Education should reduce the gap between appearance and reality. Everybody understands the importance of education. On the basis of scientific findings, we know that positive emotions are important for our health, for a happy individual, a happy family, and a happy community. This I consider the real art of happiness. I've learned this through personal experience. I'm 83 years old now. I lost my freedom at the early age of 16. At the age of 24, I became a refugee. I was stateless. I was a stateless, homeless individual. While I lost a small home in Tibet, I found a big home in India. Throughout my life, I have gone through turbulence, but my mind continues to remain peaceful. Not through dullness, I hope. Moreover, I feel that my mind is quite sharp. When I engage with famous scientists, my knowledge is almost zero compared to theirs, but we logically analyze every single point. That helps sharpen the mind. So I hope my mind is not that dull. However, during these turbulent times, my mind is calm. The immediate result is that my health is good, except that an important organ, the gallbladder, is gone. So while this human body looks normal, there is one important organ missing. Basically, my health is very good. My mental state, I think, is what makes the difference. My physician friends tell me my physical condition is not like that of an 80-plus man, and that I seem 10 years younger. Some introduce me as a reincarnation of the Bodhisattva, but I know I am no higher being or anyone like that. I know my own mind. I can read my own mind. I am a human being who utilizes his intelligence properly. The result is a mentally happy, physically healthy human being. Everyone has the same potential. The only thing is whether they pay attention or not, whether they have sufficient awareness or not. That is the point. Otherwise, all of us have the same potential. I think ancient Indian treasures have detailed knowledge of human emotions, of the human mind. So naturally, regardless of whether it is Jainism, Buddhism, or Hinduism, all religions have a common practice of samathan and vipassana, both of which involve mental training. Since these traditions follow these practices, they follow a map of the mind. I think that needs to be taught more. It should be part of an academic subject. Western psychology is very limited. The world of the mind is so vast. It is very important to know the system, to know different minds and how they develop and work. For medical knowledge, you need to know the body and how it works. For mental awareness, too, we need to study the system of the mind as an academic subject and not as a religious subject. If that knowledge is used to attain heaven or hell in the afterlife, it becomes a religious thing. If it is used to attain well-being in this life, it has nothing to do with religion. I often tease my Indian friends. When one worships one's gods or goddesses every day with incense sticks and flowers and recites Sanskrit shlokas without knowledge of their meanings, it's of no use. We must pay more attention and study this rich, ancient Indian thought. India is a religious nation. I often say that religious faith and unjust actions cannot go together. There is no third choice. There are only two choices: to be religious-minded, carrying an honest, just, truthful life, or to lead a corrupt life, denying God, denying karma, and seeking money and power. Thus, the third choice, being both religious and corrupt, is a big contradiction. Pray to Shiva, Ganesha, and in the meantime, have no hesitation in being corrupt. Whether it is made up of believers or non-believers, society should be clean, transparent. When everybody is happy, a nation can be built more rapidly. Where there is a lot of corruption and injustice, poor people suffer the most. From the viewpoint of national interest, India is the second most populated nation and has shown great stability in the last 60 years because of its vibrant democracy and rule of law. The citizens of this country should think about how to build a healthy nation. Each individual has a moral responsibility to build India in a more healthy way. Only then can this country truly make a significant impact on the world. Commensurate with its size and history. Okay, so that I think is like the longest chapter. But to me, it was kind of the least impactful, especially when I read it the first time. I felt like it was kind of all over the place. Like it's called The Inner Door, and he talks about how the inner door is having compassion for others, having empathy. But then it kind of talks about other things. The study of the mind as a science, not as a religion. I think that's interesting because, so I'm a huge fan of astrology, and there's a lot of different kinds of astrology. There's Indian astrology, there's Chinese astrology, there's even within, Western astrology, there's traditional Western astrology and then the more modern astrology. And the reason I'm bringing this up is because modern astrology is very much focused on the psyche, the mind. They say that the birth chart is a map of the mind, whereas in more traditional astrology, they saw the birth chart as a map of life and a person's entire world, not just their mind, not just their inner things, but also outer, external things that they encounter. And I'm not a big fan of the modern psychological approach, because I feel like it's limiting, and I think it sort of treats the mind as a religious thing, and it's like these energies, because it also focuses a lot more on the outer planets, whereas in traditional astrology, since the outer planets are not visible to the naked eye, they weren't used in traditional astrology. And so oftentimes modern astrologers will focus on these planets, and these outer planets have a lot of different meanings applied to them. And it's sort of like you can just tell any story with modern astrology, and I don't know, I don't really like it. But Charlize Theron, to each their own. Yeah, I will be back next week. I think I might just finish, because there's not a lot left, because it's just the Q&A section, and so there's not a whole lot left. And then hopefully I will start the next book, which I'm really excited for.